everybody, welcome to another edition of Toddster's Magical Mystery Review. I'm your host Toddster, and today we're going to take a look at George Harrison's Extra Texture. Read all about it, and it came out 3rd of October 1975 on Apple Records. And yeah, this is not only George's last album for Apple, it's also the last studio album that Apple put out before the Beatles contract ran out, like 3 months later. Yeah, so what was George up to by this point? Well, after the big failure of Dark Horse, the album, and the tour as well, George sort of went on a little downward spiral. You know, he was drinking heavily and, you know, taking some cocaine, and yeah, it seems like, you know, it was his middle of his naughty period. Like 73, 74, 75. That was his naughty period, as he called it. But yeah, so when it came to making this album, George brought together some tunes that he was working on like a few years earlier, and even wrote a couple new ones. And he went to LA to record most of the album, and yeah, let's take a look at the songs. So we start off with the big hit single, You. Yeah, originally written for Ronnie Spector back in '71, yet George took the original backing track and recorded his own vocal along with some overdubs. Yet the vocal sounds a bit more like Alvin and the Chipmunks, especially the one bit where it really sounds a bit like it, with the little you, are you. But yeah, and you could also hear Ronnie Spector at the end, doing her, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, it's an okay tune. We segue into The Answers at the End. Yeah, it's another song inspired by many quotes from Sir Frankie Crisp, found in his Friar Park home. And yet the coda is a little nod to Nina Simone's version of Isn't It a Pity, which George really liked. And yeah, it's another okay tune, nothing more. Then we go into This Guitar Can't Keep From Crying. Yes, sort of like a sequel to While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Yeah, this and it's also like a little response to like the negative criticism of his last tour. Yeah, it's one of the better songs off the album, and yet George and Jesse Ed Davis trade some solo licks on this song, which pretty awesome. And then we go into Ooh Baby, You Know That I Love You. Yeah, this is George's little tribute to Smokey Robinson. Having grown up with the Motown stuff. Was a big influence on George, and yeah, it's filled with jazzy, demented chords, or as George used to call it, naughty chords. Yeah, it's an okay song. I wish it had more lyrics and a better vocal from George. But this is not only his only Smokey tribute, so we'll wait till his next album for the next one. So then we end the first side with A World of Stone. Yes, another song regarding the negative criticism and all that. And nice melody, but nothing much more here. So we flip the record and we go with a bit more of You. It's sort of like a reprise of You, 45 seconds of it. It segues into Can't Stop Thinking About You. Yeah, sort of like a soulful type ballad, which some say George wrote this about his little one-off affair with Ringo's wife Maureen at that time. Yes, yeah, a bunch of crazy times around this period. But yeah, another great highlight of of the album. You know, I love the string arrangement of this and all, but you know, again, I wish, you know, George made a more better vocal on that on this song. Tired of Midnight Blue. Yes, yes, another song written by written about, you know, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle, which George was caught up with in LA. Yeah, to me it's the best song off the album. You know, I really like this one. You know, I love the little time signature changes. You know, in the chorus. You know, when it goes to 3/4 instead of 4/4, and you know, the demented chords around it, the naughty chords. Yeah, and then we go into Grey Cloudy Lies. Yeah, it's so reminiscent of you know, All Things Must Pass. You know, to my ears. Yeah, it's another song George wrote back in '73. Yeah, it's another good tune. And then we end the album with His Name Is Legs, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, George wrote this about Larry Legg Smith, who was the drummer for the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band. And yeah, it's sort of like a precursor to the, like, George's involvement with Monty Python. And yet, and in case you know your history, you know, the Bonzo worked with the Pythons, well, before they were Python, you know, on the Do Not Adjust Your Set and all that. And yeah, it's a very crazy tune, very crazy song, you know, production wise and lyric wise. Yeah, so that's the album. Yet we'll go with we'll get into the little bonus song that came out when it was re-released a few years ago, and it's a re-recording of This Guitar Can't Keep From Crying. Yeah, this was recorded for Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics for his Platinum Weird project, and yet you know, George recorded this back in '92, and yet 10 years later, posthumously, well, after he died, Ringo and Mark Hudson added some overdubs to it, and yeah, it's a much more improved version compared to the original, even though, you know, the original is wonderful as it is, but yeah, it's equally yeah, this version is equally awesome. So that's the album. So what to say about this record? Well, not much to say actually, but you know, a couple good songs in here, but overall another average plonker. But you know, had he saved his stuff from the Dark Horse album and combined it a bit with stuff on this album, you know, I think it could have been you know, and had he, you know, saved his voice as well, you know, I think it could have been a better album. But there you have it. So as far as ranking, 2 Georges out of 5. Yeah. So there you have it. Extra Texture from George Harrison. So my name is Toddster, and you just watched another Magical Mystery review, and we'll see you next time. Till then, toodaloo.